The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. We are back with what could be the last show of the season. We're going to do an off-season version, but it won't be every week. And it is the New York Mets in the zone. I'm Ralph Tyko, New York. Remember, Marty, when people said, I'm from New York, New York.
Yes, absolutely.
With just that accent. And the world has become a bit homogenized along those lines. You don't hear that Brooklyn, what used to be in the movies, them, those, and these, and thems.
That stuff was real, though, at the time.
Right. But cable television and the internet has made us all, like, just an example, could you have imagined getting New York-style pizza anywhere out of New York? Now, you looked around. You live in Orlando. You searched around. You found a pizza place or two. It may not be quite New York, but it's damn close.
Well, yeah, we have a place right in our town here, right in Celebration, and they advertise it as New York-style pizza. And, to me, it's the closest that I have found. And I've been to a few places. Even my daughters have been to a few places where they live, and nothing has been as good as this place right in my town. So every Friday I go. They know my name. They know my order every Friday. And Peggy and I drive to the girls' house a half an hour or 20 minutes away because there's nothing near them that's as good. You just
Beautiful.
Keep going back to the same place.
And why not?
Yeah.
You couldn't have found that when I was first stationed out in California. We've been joined, I think it's Robert who joined us. Robert, or
yes,
Wayne Unger. Hey, Robert.
I'm here.
We are on the air talking New York-style pizza on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. New York Mets baseball. Marty Rose first. Robert joins us. What kind of pizza do you have, and is it as close to New York-style pizza I'm in Alameda, and I found a place. Marty found a place. I'm sure you did too. That's real close, if not as good as New York pizza.
Oh yeah, we have a place about half mile away. It is a New York pizza place. The guys are from New York, and so just like what we used to get on Long Island.
Okay, it's close. What's the name? Let's give them a plug for eternity. What's their name? And then I'll ask Marty the name of his place. What's the place you go to? And where is it?
Okay, it's called Sardo's on Olmerton Road in Largo.
Okay. And Mert, where do you go for your pizza?
Right here in the town of Celebration on Market Street, and the name of the place is Upper Crust.
Wow, good names. Mine is simply Alameda Pizza on Webster. Or not even. There's an 8-town pizza in town. There is a place in town called New York Pizza in Alameda that up till I found the place on Webster was as close to New York as you could get. This is almost, this is really delicious. So my point is, we started rambling on pizza before you got here. The world has become homogenized. There isn't that, started out with dialect, that thems and those, Brooklyn type. You don't get that much anymore. Even in Brooklyn, we went back to visit. Even in New York, you don't get that.
No, not anymore.
The old style Canal Street accents or dialect.
People are a little more educated these days than they were back then. Plus, you got these New York people just like us. The New York people are everywhere. That's why you probably find New York pizza everywhere. It's scattered all over the place.
Yes, Robert, it is, unless you go to Kansas City.
Yes. I'll tell you guys a quick story. I was stationed out here at Travis Air Force Base when I first got to California. And it's in Fairfield, California, halfway between Sacramento and San Francisco. And New York pizza was far from what was available. But they did have pizza places. And I don't remember where 2 or 3 of us, we GIs, ended up in Vacaville, which is right next door to Fairfield. You could imagine the size of these towns, 12,000 people and what have you. Not going to get much pizza. And the guy serves us the pizza and then comes back and says, "How do you like it?" And it was the first pizza I ever had out of New York. And I was a smart-ass 20-year-old as opposed to a smart-ass 73-year-old that I am now. But, who just answered, you give me I have no filter, never had one. You ask me a question, it's going to come out. How did you like the pizza? I said, it tasted like you put ketchup on a cardboard and sprinkled some American cheese on it. Cut up some American cheese on it. Why do you bother to get an oven if you can, something like that? He just shook his head and walked away. He wasn't going to get his kudos from me or any other New Yorker that had to go through. And I watched it change. It's been 50 years that I've been out here.
Right.
I watched it change over the years where more of these towns are even getting, there are some chain pizzas out here that are pretty damn good that are available. Round Table Pizza, as an example, in California. Everywhere you go, you get the same Round Table Pizza. It doesn't really taste like New York pizza, but it's damn good. And that's something that I've discovered about cuisine growing up, eating just a limited amount of food, Chinese food, Italian food, and my mother's cooking. So I was happy to get into the Air Force where food tasted great. The mess hall, well, what are you guys complaining about? Did you ever have heartburn from Vivian?
Was that her best dish?
Actually, I can't think of one of those, but I can think of her specialty, which was chopped liver, gehackte liver. And she had a grinder that she put on the kitchen table, on a table or a cabinet or however she did it on it. And she would literally grind up the liver and mix it with stuff, and she got high acclaim for that. And she was very very pedestrian, but consistent. Every night we had something different. We had either steak and this or that, or spaghetti and meatballs, chicken one night, mixed it up, but it was very bland. I didn't know it then. It was filling and good. I joke about it. but it got the job done, and I lived this long.
You know? Yeah, there was the same thing here. I mean, there was dinner on the table every night, something, and usually some kind of potato and vegetables. Whatever,
right.
You know,
a lot of pressure cooker cooking for my mother.
Right. That's true. Pressure cookers were big back then. I remember that.
And for some reason or another, they got the job done. They either kept the nutrition in, gave way to waterless cooking. Years later, about all kinds of books about keeping the nutrition in the vegetables when you cook it. So cooking has come a long way. Nutrition has come a long way. Meat 7 days a week of some sort.
That's why all our fathers didn't live that long.
Right.
I think that was a big part of it, man.
A big part of it, but it was self-responsibility. If you see what, like when my father would have a bowl full of fruit on almost a nightly basis, like 3 or 4 pears, some oranges, this, that. He was diabetic, and they didn't know anything about diabetes to warn you of what it can be doing, and
way too much red meat, way too much.
Too much red wheat. In my father's case, too much weight, and lack of exercise. And come to find out that he had neuropathy, or however they pronounce it, which is nerve damage to your feet. So he couldn't get out there and walk. So so it was like, and they didn't have treadmills and non-invasive stuff. That it's just different. They keep you alive a lot longer if you choose to stay away from medicine as long as you can. Unless you need it, because my experience, just looking around and listening to the ads, watching CNN and listening to the ads for medicine, 10 to 15 seconds of what the medicine does for you, and 35 seconds
about what it might do.
What it might do.
Yeah.
Guys, you can take this, but the side effects are as follows. And it almost, you could do a comedy act and of what the side effects. And I swear I heard one. I never heard it again. A medicine where they were going through, you could get diarrhea or constipation from this medicine.
One or the other.
That was one or two of a myriad of things that can cause high blood pressure, this, blood clots, that. Tell your doctor if you're doing this. Well, guess what? If you have to tell your doctor what to prescribe, and what, based on what you learn on television, you got to take more self-responsibility for your care. But don't get. I rant about medical care, even though, and pharmaceutical care, even though the guy I want most to be president, and I apologize for everything I ever said that he wasn't the greatest guy. Little light in the loafers, perhaps, but quite a guy. That's Joe Biden, and I apologize for him. But he does have some ties to the drug companies. So when I think of him and I think of what we may get as opposed to Trump, it ain't going to be perfect. But it's like Tally says, it's like getting off the Titanic, and don't expect the Queen Mary to pick you up if you have to get on a rowboat to be rescued with Biden. We'll take the rowboat for a while. We'll get it to shore. The country will suck for a long time as the result of the Supreme Court nominees. What do you guys say? Are they going to go through with this nomination before the election? Are they going to have her on the Supreme Court? Start with you, Robert. My question.
They're sure going to try. He wants her in place in case the election has to go to the Supreme Court.
Right, exactly. And are the Democrats going to stand up somehow and stop it? Because
I don't see how they can. They have the votes.
No, they don't. The Republicans have it's just the Senate, and the Republicans have the majority in the Senate. So
right.
There's no way they're going to stop it.
You need three of the Republicans to either not vote at all or vote with the Democrats.
Yeah. Somebody brought up the fact today that they may try to change the Supreme Court the time that you serve from lifetime to 18 years max. But if they did that, they'd probably need a constitutional amendment. But that was brought up today. That why should it be, lifetime? It's kind of
Well, I've heard that they could put more, that there's no constitutional grounds for not putting more than 9 people on the court. So if Biden gets elected, pray frickin' God that he gets elected one way or the other. He could put more Supreme Court justices on that could even up this 6-3 slaughterhouse that we have going.
Only if they get control of the Senate.
Right.
They have to turn the Senate.
And I think that them cramming down the pick of the Supreme Court justice, which is really fair. You don't do 2 wrongs to make a right. Legally, he has, constitutionally, he should really be entitled, despite what they did to Obama. Each case stands on its own. He should be entitled constitutionally to choose a Supreme Court justice. But that doesn't mean that the Democrats haven't turned over and played patsy for as long as I could remember, with the same cast of crew. Pelosi in Bush's second term, after they were halliburting us to death, and everybody knew it, and they started a war based on a bunch of bullshit, that she didn't stand up to him. She had control at that point of Congress and the Senate, and she didn't stand up to him. I'm sure she regrets it, if you had to ask her, because it caused a lot of problems in this country. Mm-hmm. But in general, Democrats just either they're the same as the Republicans, and they play us for good cop, bad cop every 4 years. When I say the same as Republicans, I mean Trump notwithstanding. He's not a Republican. He's a renegade. He's taken over democracy. Do you guys agree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, but what this has done is that it's marginalized both parties. The Republican senators who have all along, with Kavanaugh's appointment and them not impeaching him, they've enabled him to do what he does. They have to take a great deal of blame for all of that. But like I say, I wish the Democrats were better at strategizing and not being faced with checkmate for all this time. Things really would be scary if Biden doesn't beat Trump decisively, where there's no Supreme Court, nothing to talk about, can't talk about the ballots, all that have been settled. But if it's close and you depend on the Supreme Court, I'm really scared for democracy. Marty.
Yes. No, I agree. It's I just cannot believe that people don't see what we see. I mean, look, I have voted for Democrats, I have voted for Republicans, I have voted for third-party candidates based on, at the time, what I thought was right. You know, I'm not one of these. It has to be this way or nothing. I've never been like that. But Trump is just a total embarrassment, and I don't understand what these MAGA people. I just don't understand what they see. I just don't get it.
Well, what I really don't get is the evangelists, and I guess it's for the court picks and the ideology of how the country's going to go for the next 50 years. So,
look, so much is this anti-abortion thing. I mean,
right, the hypocrisy of that.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the people are just. Some people just vote for Trump because of that one thing. It's the only thing that matters to a lot of these over-religious people. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And they just, well, I'm not saying anything else.
And they have a voice in church, too. They use their church as to politicize. Even if they don't do it outwardly, they do it with a nod and a wink. They do it in the basement of the church over coffee. And then they tell their people that are going to go out and change the world to knock on doors. And that scares me. Mixing religion and church and state, it has never been a good idea. But what could you imagine? Mert, there are 4 women in your life. Imagine taking away their control of their own bodies. I just don't understand how you could be a father or mother, give birth to a woman, have a niece, have a mother yourself. I don't understand their thinking. It's crazy making to me.
Tell me what's more expensive, a box of Trojans or raising an unwanted kid till he or she is like 21?
Here's the big problem. A fetus is not a baby. That's why they put 2 words in the dictionary. They weren't just looking to use ink and fill the damn thing up. I had somebody on Twitter today responding to what I just said, and I got it's a sin. You know. Yeah.
Using something like what I just mentioned is
a baby brought into this world by a poor person stands 0 chance of being successful.
Right.
Just the way the neighbor. I won't say that. I won't say 0 chance. X amount, but so very minute. The way the education you get in a poor neighborhood, just what you're exposed to, it's unbelievable how they don't see that. Put more money into the police. Hey, take money away from them, and let people do the social thing. Let the police give tickets for parking. Stuff like that. If there's anything that requires any communication with the world, bring in somebody who is trained, who's educated to communicate with the world, not who can go on the firing range. That kind of thing. It's really a crazy world, and it doesn't get better. The gall of Ruth Ginsburg to pass away.
Hey, we tried.
She hung in all the time. Long time.
We were trying to keep her.
Yep.
I know. And she came close. There are people saying things like she should have resigned when she was 83 in the Obama administration and let him pick a young liberal. I've heard that. But what she did for society, rest in peace. I think this is the first show since she passed away.
Yes.
So it's nice to get that out here. She was, even before she became a justice, what she did for equal rights for women, just as an attorney, and what she brought in front of the Supreme Court. And she's the one person with an IQ over 100 who could get along with Scalise.
Oh, they were very close.
I know. That's something that her daughter, I think they did a documentary, and her daughter couldn't really understand that. She said something nice, says, well, they get along, but to be honest with you, with his ideology, I don't get it. I don't get being nice to her. So she had a certain way of bringing it all together.
The movie about her was pretty good. There was a movie about her, a real movie, not just a documentary.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw a while ago. It was pretty good. Do her court cases, trying to, get the women's rights thing going and all that. It was done. Pretty well.
Did they play Marty, her deceased husband, as someone? He was very talented in his own right, and he had a good sense of humor. So I don't know if that was an icebreaker.
Mostly about her court, cases and how she did it and whatnot. But it was enjoyable.
Okay. Hey, you know what we could do, guys? We could bring up the fact that this is the Met show.
A half hour later, yes.
Hey, what the hell? It's
we could talk
if you're tuning in for the Mets. If you're tuning into the Mets, you got some terrific response to what's going on in the world today. We are all three disturbed. Let's put it that way. And there are things you don't understand. Florida just opened up entirely today. Are they ready, Robert?
No. Hell no.
Marty?
Hell no.
No.
Marty?
Well, it's just buyer beware. I'm not going into these places. Not now. Now I may go to Disney World because we live right near Disney World and we have passes. We annual passes that we pay for. So we went about a week or so ago, and at that time it was still in phase 2. You needed a reservation to get in, but as soon as little Donnie lifted went to phase 3 from phase 2, they removed the reservation, so you can. It's just open like it was before, but they'll still have things in effect. They still have a lot of places to clean your hands, and I'm pretty sure you got to still wear a mask. I haven't been there since it opened, but we'll probably go there. But as far as, because it's mostly outside anyway,
right.
But go to a restaurant inside, I don't think I'm doing that yet.
Right.
I don't think I'm doing that yet, even though
Yeah,
you can.
And the worst thing that he did in that proclamation was not only did he open it up, but he put in there that no community, city, county can make it any harder than what he has. So in other words, if in Orlando it suddenly has a big breakout, they can't all of a sudden say, well, we're going to cut back and, close the restaurants. That would be against the law.
Does this open it up to a lot of lawsuits, both people who are out there and what have you?
Well, look, he is trying to get people back to work. That's the only reason. Some restaurants were completely going out of business, not just closed temporarily, but some of them closed permanently. And there's a lot of job loss. That's what he's concerned with. He's more concerned with people screaming that they need to get their jobs back. And, I guess to him that's more important than public safety. But each person, you are responsible for your own situation. I'm wearing a mask. I come out of the supermarket. I got the hand sanitizer in my car immediately.
Me too. Me too.
So, I think I'm covered by that. But everybody's not doing that.
No. Right. That's the thing. And this vaccine that's promised is really only a dream. A, that they can get it to work. B, that they can transport it from hither to yon if it needs special freezing and what have you. C, that people are going to take it. If they don't put a fucking mask on, what makes you think they're going to go in for an injection? Yeah,
it's too quick. You just don't know the effectiveness. It's just way too early. You need a period of time to find out how effective the damn thing is.
And they still don't have an AIDS vaccine at this point.
No.
Right.
And that's been how many years?
And they still haven't tested these vaccines on children. They've only been testing it on adults. So who knows whether it's going to be safe for kids, whether it's going to work for kids.
All right. So let's go a little Metsies here.
All right.
Okay.
Start it off, Marty.
Well, very, very, very disappointing season. Although, when you looked at the starting pitching, even when the season was just starting, you had to be a little worried. I mean, I know I was. I don't know what people expected out of Waka and Porcello. I didn't expect very much.
I expected a little more. I expected Porcello to be like a number 3 starter. Mm-hmm. He's had success in the past.
Somewhat, yeah, but, every year.
Number 4 starter, something better than what we got. Let's put it that way.
Matz was a complete flop.
Right, complete. Syndergaard got hurt.
Well, don't forget, in the very beginning of regular spring training, Porcello was brought in to be the number 5 starter, and Walker was supposed to be a long man in the bullpen.
Right.
Okay. And so, and everybody was saying, well, we got 6 starters. Well, then Syndergaard went down, okay, and then, of course, you had Stroman opt out after, the season, the abbreviated season started, okay,
right.
And after the first start that Matt's made, okay, he crapped out, and all of a sudden, all you had was DeGrom, and luckily Peterson came along, and he looks like he may be the real deal, but you'd have to see again in a full season. Now I know we had a little debate amongst the 3 of us on the website and stuff, and on messaging about I lost my train of thought about Lugo. Yeah, about Lugo.
Yeah.
And I think you have to give him a shot next year. Straight out of spring training, they started him out as a relief pitcher. That's what he was going to be. Then all of a sudden they stretched him out quickly. Pitchers get dead on. Pitchers get dead on.
Yeah, too quickly. I think you're right about that.
Right.
I think if they give him a shot as a starter right from the get-go next year, I think he'll do better.
Yeah.
But still, that's only 3 pitchers, and you don't know when Syndergaard's going to be able to come back. He had the surgery in March. If he comes back in May, he'll be lucky, very lucky. Yeah.
You've got to plan without him. Okay, you have to have a starting rotation without even including him. I mean, you just have to, because you don't know. Every pitcher comes back differently. He may take a little bit longer, So you have to plan without him going to be in it. I don't think you can count on Matz at all at this point. I think he's a lost case. You pretty much have to trade him. And what
have
about
they ever just stuck him in the bullpen and for an extended period of time, healthy?
No, they've wanted to do that, but it's never worked out.
Boy, I mean, a lefty, such a good athlete, could be a last resort, but it could be something to think about because you're not going to get much for him. Let's put it that way.
True. Now, what do you guys think about re-signing Stroman?
I don't see why not.
Well, depends what he wants. He's a free agent. Depends what he wants. I don't think he's that great, to tell you the truth. I don't think he's any better than a number 4. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
So that depends. It depends what other teams bid for him. How much you're willing to spend. Of course, you're going to have a new regime in here, and you don't know, how they feel about it. Alderson was never big on spending, but then again, he didn't have the money to spend. Now he will. Now he will. But if he's still more into developing people, maybe it just depends on Cohn a lot about what he says. Does he want to win right away, or does he want to wait a year or two to build a little bit more? You got a lot of offensively, there's a lot of young talent out there. They have a good 8. Well, they need a catcher, but I mean they have pretty set 7 guys.
Players.
Yeah,
you got 3 shortstops that are really what you want. Young, potential.
One of them should be traded, at least one.
That's a big decision. And you guys have talked about putting Rosario in center field.
Yeah, we have. I don't think he hits enough to play center field.
Oh, I think he does. I think if you put him in center field and he doesn't have the pressure of being the shortstop, I think he'll hit plenty.
But if they don't... Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
he's shown in the past that he can hit. This year he did not, for the most part. He started hitting a little bit towards the end, but over the last couple of seasons, he shows that he can hit. So I wouldn't be so quick to give up on him. Ronnie Mauricio will probably be the shortstop of the future, but Jimenez can play second base just as well as he can play shortstop. Mm-hmm. And you really have to start looking, Cano is going to be, playing less and less at second base.
Hey, right. Let's give him some credit. This guy stuck it out.
He had a big year, Cano.
Yes, right. He did. Yes.
Yeah, he really did. And they took him out late in the games to run for,
right.
Which is cool.
Right.
Yeah. But here's another thing that's important. DH, yes or no? Next year. Did they say anything?
Yeah.
They did?
No, I have not heard anything. The only thing I heard Manfred say was that he thinks the one rule that will stick is the extra inning rule.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
God.
He said that today. He said that today.
That really sucks. That deflates me.
Oh.
I can't imagine.
But the DH thing is really important for the Mets.
That's a certainty now. That's going to be a certainty.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'm shocked at that. Robert, that sucks.
Mm.
Well, the problem that happened over the course of the year was basically every baseball man was against it, except for this year, under the circumstances. As the year went on, if you listen to different stations and stuff like that, more and more people were falling in love with it and liking it, and I think that's what started to make it more of a permanent thing. I personally don't like it. I think it's wrong, but that's what Manfred said today that I heard.
I'm in the process of putting together a chapter on the bastardization of our great game.
Mm.
And believe me, there are folks, I've done interviews with, give you an example, guys on our network, Blumpkin, George Case, Hal Bach, and David Hubler on a panel of old guys, mm-hmm. traditionalists, along with me,
yep.
talking about this. The old traditional guy who wants baseball to be as baseball was could have, at this point, gone for the DH in both leagues.
Yeah.
But this is offensive. This is absolutely offensive.
Yeah.
That's and to all of us, and that is the gist of the chapter that I'm writing. It really does bastardize the game to the point where you gotta shake your head. That's all.
Mm.
Still baseball. This or that. Blah 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 blah.
Well, but the DH thing plays into the Rosario center field thing, because if they keep the DH, then fine. But if they don't keep the DH, then Dom Smith and Alonso both have to be in the lineup every day, which means Nimmo got to be in center and Conforto got to be in right. There's no room for Rosario to move out there. I'm getting to
Is Dom Smith the guy that you want in left field defensively?
Well, look. I mean, if you're gonna play Alonso, then and Dom Smith could be one of the best hitters on the team right now.
No question about that.
But where are you going to put him? If there's no DH,
I don't think it's going to be I really don't think it's going to be an issue. I think that DH is going to go through, especially from what my gut reaction to what Robert said a moment or so ago. It's official. They're going to have the shortened thing with. How about double headers? Will they be 7-inning games?
That I didn't hear. And don't forget, Manfred said he'd like that to be a permanent thing, but that hasn't become official yet. That has to be worked out between the the owners and the players.
And the union and what have you. That's coming up for renewal. So it's going to be a busy winter. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Do you have any preferences in the playoffs, Robert?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I'm a Rays fan, so.
Right.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going with that.
Okay. Mert?
Preferences? No. I personally don't care. I don't have a team in the hunt. I really don't. I don't really care. Can't really say.
You know what's interesting?
Anybody but Houston. How about that?
That's the team I was going to talk about. How they have bottomed out. Every one of their stars are hitting 218. It's unbelievable. Even Altuve is it's horrible. Amazing what you can derive from a garbage can.
Very true.
All right. Hey, it was great tonight. I enjoyed talking with you guys, and we didn't spend much Met time, but we did spend life talking about life, and that's good too.
Okay.
All right.
And we know where to buy pizza now too.
You scared me there for a second. I thought didn't know what you were going to refer to. Not for sale, for personal consumption only. That's the rule in California. All right.
What pizza?
And I'll tell you what, we've done the universe a solid by putting our thoughts about our favorite pizza place out there. And,
absolutely.
So cook with it, put some oil on it. You'll really love cannabis on your pizza. On that note, enjoy. Thank you for listening, everybody. It's the Comfortably Zoned Radio. I'm Ralph Tyko, the weak link of it all, responsible for all this frivolity going on. Robert and Marty are really serious Met fans, and they can tell you that on a daily basis. So tune into what's the name? I mentioned your site on Facebook. What's the name of your site, your Met site on Facebook, Robert?
The Mets from the Polo Grounds to Citi Field.
Beautiful. Okay. Catch Robert's views there. Mert, you're all over the place. You're
I'm on Facebook.
You're
I'm on Twitter.
You're on Twitter as well.
Yeah, I have fun on Twitter. Yeah, Twitter's funny.
It's good from a guy who led you to all of this nonsense. It is cathartic. Am I right?
Yes. I have fun with it, getting into some nice, juicy arguments with people a lot of times, but it's okay.
And we get to talk to people like Ann Fusco, who's been my friend for like 11 years on Facebook, Barbara Burton, who is my campmate since we're 13 years old. We know each other. Wow. You and I know each other since Hector was a pup.
Yes, second grade or whatever.
Second grade.
Yeah. Hey, I got one quick Twitter thing I got to tell you.
Oh, I graduated. I'm in third grade starting next year. That's why.
Somebody was talking about Blake Bortles. Used to be the quarterback for Jacksonville. He's on Denver now. I thought he was going to play last week, but he didn't. So anyway, I'm saying that I lived in Jacksonville for 4 years. Unfortunately, I got to see Blake Bortles. The guy stinks, you know. So a short time later, I get a tweet back that says, "You don't smell so good either," and it was from Blake Bortles.
Oh wow!
So
wow!
So I said back to him, ha ha, good one, good luck to you, and then he came back and he said, good, all in fun, no harm done, all in fun, and thank you for your service. He must have looked up who the hell is this guy,
Oh, right.
Well, anyway, he didn't play.
A good internet social media story, by the way.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, you just took it with a grain of salt, both of you, and that was nice.
Yeah,
that was nice. All right, guys, have a great one. Thanks for listening, everybody. You are treated to Marty Rose and Robert Cole. Again, I'm Ralph Tyko, the weak link of it all. Happy trails.
Good night.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.